Hey y'all, thanks for checking out Euclid Mining. So this is really just a continuation of one of my last videos. I was going over my cell phone mining farm and I started looking into CPU mining and the comparison between them both. Because you're able to mine different things, different coins with either of them, I started trying to figure out which would be the most profitable or in the long run profitable. I know up front it may seem in some ways the split between these is quite a difference, but let's go over it. Let's see what we got going on over here. I'm going to hop over. So this is my spreadsheet. I had this in the last video. Like I said before, it is underwhelming. I do need to finish it off here with putting the power in for each one. But nonetheless, these are the phones that I've been working with and some of the prices per mega hash. So when I look down here, we can see that, at $13 per mega hash, clearly it is not the winner. There are several others, that are much better suited as far as price point goes. So, and with a cell phone miner, you download the software, you start the miner software. It's pretty straightforward for the most part. Whereas CPU mining, like I'm using Hive OS, it maybe is a little bit more involved the way that I have it, I have it set up. So that just depends on also the footprint of what you're working with on how you want to run that. So the wire shelf that I bought, it could have two CPU miners on each shelf. So that would give me a total of 6 on this. It has 3 shelves. So I could get 6 on here if I ever wanted to go full with that. Right now, I just have 2. And then as far as the phones, you can see the ones that I have. Now, some of these I am not using. I do have 2 of the Orbic Joy, 2 of the Orbic Maui, 1 of the Orbic Maui with the cracked screen. We talked about that in the last video. Obviously, the same exact thing, just a lot cheaper because of the cracked screen. The Wonder didn't work. I have 2 A03Ss. I have my phone that I throw on there sometimes just if I'm doing nothing, I'll toss it on here. The Note 5 was a complete failure, but I was able to get the hash rate out of that. And then, of course, I've got my CPU miner. Now, I bought this, and I've gone back and I've tried to look at some prices online. And here it is right here. I was looking at the CPUs themselves. I figure I can get a motherboard for about $100, maybe $20 for RAM. So I'm looking at about 100 and, if I did it all myself, I need to get a fan. Obviously the power supply is not going to be an issue because I've got my HP server power supply with the breakout board. And then I have the splitter so I can power 2 motherboards with the one. I don't know if I've got that wire. I still have it here because I haven't used it on that yet, but I can put this on the power supply and then I can run this onto 2 different motherboards. So I still have this one here and it's more than capable of running 2 of these. So I am not worried about that. So a power supply I won't have to buy. Now this one that I got, it was really kind of ridiculous. It had 32 gigs of RAM. So I really couldn't complain about that. And some of the ones that I'm looking at, if I had to get the RAM, also as if you were just starting off fresh, you would have to see. But for about $85 here, these are, maybe that goes for around 90 with shipping. So, maybe that's going to get up to $100. That's going to be $100. You're going to look at, at least $100 for the, let's see, I had a Ryzen 5. 3600 over here, and I was looking at, and this was actually a really good deal for $155. The Ryzen 5 3600 for that pricing is actually with best offer. So if you got that down to like 140 and you turned it into 155 with shipping, $155. Now it does need RAM, but I've got lots of extra RAM, so that wouldn't be a problem for me. The power supply, like I said, would fit right on there, and some of these, when you do the calculator, this is for the 36, this is for my 37 on the Ryzen 7, almost 80 cents a day. That's pretty good on there. So, you really have to weigh, again, like I said, your footprint, how much technical knowledge you have into computers to really get that going, which is still not that difficult to do, to be honest. But if you were to do a CPU miner and you just wanted to do something simple and use like NiceHash, which I don't recommend, but if you did, you would still need a copy of Windows on each of these computers in order to do it, unless you did Hive OS, which is like just a completely another level of mining. So you would have to learn that. So there is a bit of a learning curve with getting into CPU mining. If you did it with the Windows and just went and did, NiceHash, that's an added expense of having a copy of Windows on each one of these rigs as well, whereas Hive OS is free for the most part. You know, so you have to weigh those options as well. Again, the phone mining is real straightforward. I think probably the hardest thing for someone to figure out is to download a wallet, get the wallet address, add that into the miner. But there's tons of videos out there. I made one. I didn't put it out yet, but you know, overall, it's pretty straightforward. So it's an easy one to get into. So you got to give it points for that. CPU mining is definitely going to be a little bit more on the learning curve, or it turns into more of an expense if you do it all with Windows to do NiceHash, for instance. So, you know, if you did Hive, then obviously the price point comes down. But if you don't know how to do that, the price point obviously goes up. You know, CPU mining, but like I was showing you on that one there, let's see, where's that one? You know, this is it right here. It's got the fan, it's got the CPU, need a stick of RAM, got the power supply. So if I got it for 155, you know, you really only need like a 4 gig stick in this thing to mine ultimately. Now, the positive side to CPU mining compared to cell phone mining is that when it comes to cell phone mining, it is easy, certainly, and obviously a lot cheaper, from $13. Now, that was the price that I got this for. These are going for a lot more. I don't know how I ended up getting it for that price. I had to go back on eBay and check it and make sure I really bought it for that. But that's what I bought it for, with 32 gigs of RAM and the fan, the CPU and everything. I couldn't believe it. So I got lucky on that deal, but they are a lot more expensive now. I would say they're closer into the $300 to $350 dollar range for this CPU in particular. So, you know, if I really put that into realistic, let's even just go with 300, you know, you're looking at $15. Again, I'm not trying to tank the idea of doing this, saying it's hard to learn how to do this or to get it going. The price point is super high. So yeah, you know, it just seems almost silly. Of course I should be doing cell phone mining. It's much easier, super cheap. I could buy a phone for $13 and I could buy one every so often and just keep tossing them on the pile. And, you know, that's the amazing thing about cell phone mining. You just find a good deal and buy one and just plug it in and throw it on the shelf, you know, really easy to do. Let's talk about CPU mining. First off, resale. I think that a resale of a used phone, whether it be used for mining or not, is not going to keep its value. I think CPUs, though they are ever changing as well, I think cell phones, there's more of those produced in more models and types, that these types of phones become obsolete pretty quick. So I think the price point on these will definitely drop in the future if I was to sell. I'm not looking to sell, but if I were to sell in a year from now, let's say, I don't think I'm going to get the $30 or the $40 for some of these phones. Or am I even going to get the $13 back for the cracked Orbic Maui? You know, I get $1 if I'm lucky. Pay more in eBay fees selling it. So, you know, I don't think that there is potential as far as resale. Okay, CPU. I believe that this CPU in a year from now, I could definitely still get my $250 or even the $300 back for it. I still think that that will be a very viable number. So I think I would still break even if I just wanted to dump this today. I could get my money back. So that's a positive there. Yes, the price point is more expensive, but the field that you can work with a CPU miner and the things you can do. Let's talk about throwing a GPU on there and GPU mining as well. Throw this in one of the open air frames that I have an extra one of, and add a couple more GPUs. I got a six card frame. I can throw those cards on there and have a CPU miner and a 6-card GPU mining rig. I can use this computer as just a regular computer if I want to. As a matter of fact, I do have a hard drive hooked up to it. Right now it's on Hive, so it's a USB stick in it. But if I want, I just take the USB stick out. And when it goes to boot, if it doesn't see the USB stick, it boots to the hard drive, and it's a computer. And that's where I keep some of my my other wallets, my core wallets. It's that one standalone computer that I don't use for anything else except for core wallets. But when I use it for the USB for Hive, it has no effect on that. So it works just fine like this for me. So I get a dual use out of this right now. Also, if you wanted, obviously, just CPU mine, I mean, I think that overall, I think there's more options. And let's not forget also when we come closer to Flux and proof of useful work, a good CPU miner, or a good CPU, I should say, along with a couple graphics cards and a reasonable amount of RAM, this will become a very viable option and may produce way more money than what we're seeing right here. This may produce, several dollars a day. Who knows where it may lead? But when that comes, and I have this on there, I believe that it'll be a good system for that, especially with 32 gigs of RAM. This thing is definitely beefed up, and that's a reason why I like this one, was because it was ready for proof of useful work when that came around. I would definitely be using it for it. So I am ready to go with that one. But like I said, even if I took some of the RAM out of here, put it into another one that didn't come with RAM, I could almost build another system reasonably cheap because I have the power supply the way I do, and also because I have a little extra RAM. So, I see more possibilities with CPU mining. I see lots more possibilities with CPU mining than just the one possibility with cell phone mining. It is limited because it is just a cell phone and it is a much obviously weaker processor. So there is limits to it. It can mine different coins. As a matter of fact, you can even download the unmineable. You can software and then mine on unmineable and mine any coin you want. You don't have to mine just one coin, which is cool too. Same thing with the CPU miner. I could do the same thing on unmineable and I can mine any coin I want. So they both can do that, but how much you're going to get and how much footprint are you going to be taking up to achieve the same numbers. So, it really comes down to, again, like I said, the footprint of what you're working with, obviously your budget, and, what you see potential for in the future. I've gotten into cell phone mining. I've enjoyed doing it. It's been a lot of fun getting into it. Am I going to continue to grow? If the price is right. If I could figure out that other phone, I would consider buying those 10 other Orbic Joys if I can get that Verizon situation figured out, because I would definitely like to buy those. The ones over here, the ones that come like this, you have to activate through Verizon. You have no choice. And if I can activate just one phone and then take that SIM card out and put it in each one of the other ones and just get it on the internet and then take the SIM card out and still have it run, I would definitely do it. And I have to test it with that one. If it did work, I would consider buying this. This is not financial advice. This isn't what you should do. You do what's best for your pocket or pocketbook. But at $27.50 per phone, that's even better than what I bought mine for. So, like I said, that could be a deal. This one, I don't know if it's this one here or if it's the Verizon one up here. So at $40, that's not that bad. Not bad at all, especially if they were this one and you just didn't have to deal with the headache of the Verizon thing. You make that choice. That's the call you're going to make. But like I said, there's some deals out here. There's some deals to be found. So, some of these are going to be much, much higher. But anyway, that's really it in a nutshell. Which one do I think at the end of the day is the one to use? Like I said, if I find the right deal, I'll buy a couple more cell phones. But I think I'm looking towards the deals of CPU mining and sticking with that. With a CPU miner, even if I did buy one and only threw 4 gigs of RAM in it just to CPU mine and do what I want to do, that's one thing. If proof of useful work was to be something that I wanted to get into heavier, only buying an extra stick of RAM or something like that would be all I'd have to do in order to use that new computer, new CPU miner to make it viable for that. So it would be a very cheap upgrade in order to get into that. But again, you'd have to be a little bit more savvy in mining to really go in that direction. So choice is yours. For me, I'm in between, but I guess I lean more on the CPU mining side because I'm looking much further down the road. So, and much further down the road, like I said, those cell phones probably won't get the same return as far as resale value than they would as of today. So anyway, that's really it. Like I said, this is just a continuation video of my last one, just kind of getting into it a little bit deeper of which one I really thought might be a better choice. Like we saw here, this was just for the CPUs and the price that they're going for. About 80 bucks, you know, 90 bucks for some of these, just for the, you know, so that'd be around 90 bucks. You know, we'll see if that jumps up any higher. But regardless, you know, to put a system together for 300, 350 bucks, it is a reasonable amount of money. It would be like buying $275 worth of phones, you know. So in the end, the choice is yours. I appreciate y'all checking in. I appreciate y'all watching. Definitely give me a thumbs up. I always love those. If you want to subscribe to the channel, buttons there. Any of my other videos, you know where they are, right up over there. Thanks for checking in. I'll see y'all next time.